Hey everyone, and welcome back. So today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be looking at a couple of accessories for your Nintendo Switch Lite that Kiwihome was nice enough to provide to me for a review. Now, just to be clear before we get started, this is not a sponsored video. They basically send me their products, and this isn't the first time. I tried them out, and if I find that they have qualities that are really worth it for all of you out there, I share them in a video with you. And today they pretty much sent me their kit that is their best protection kit for the Nintendo Switch Lite. So when I'm talking about that they sent me their best protective accessories, they sent me basically their Kiwihome protective case, which is more of a grip slash case for your Nintendo Switch Lite to carry around in everyday life. And they also sent me their screen protector kit. Now, I know that both these products are not necessarily anything new on the market. You've probably seen similar models on Amazon and other websites. By the way, the Kiwihome products are available on Amazon as well. And I'll be leaving a link down below to the Amazon site products and as well to their website, because since they were gracious enough to at least give me the accessories for free, of course, I'll at least leave a link to their website. But basically what I was getting to is that what I love about the Kiwihome products more specifically is that they're generally a tad higher quality than the generic ones you'll get on Amazon. Also, what I really love about their screen protector kit, and if you saw my video on the standard Nintendo Switch protector kit, is really when they say that they have the easiest kit for a screen protector installation, they really mean it, and it's all due to this special little accessory that they include with it right here. Now, in a couple of seconds, we'll actually go through how we install the screen protector on the Nintendo Switch Lite using this kit. So we'll look at that really quickly in the video. It'll take like a minute or two, and we'll also get a close-up view of what exactly the protective case is offering, because I do want to go over a couple of specific things, and then we'll end, once we are done with the close-up, with basically my thoughts on this kit and why I actually think it could be worth it, especially for people who are giving their Nintendo Switch Lite either to a younger kid or just someone that actually leaves their Nintendo Switch Lite sometimes laying around the house without necessarily always putting it away in a case. So now, just before we get to the close-up of these products, don't forget that if you do like these videos and you want to see more, the best way to support the channel is to hit that like button and also subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. But now let's move on with the close-up. Perfect. So now that we're at the close-up, first thing we're going to do, we're going to install the screen protector. First of all, just to show you really quickly, this is what you're going to get if you decide to buy the Kiwihome kit. So basically you get everything in a tiny little box like this. But inside, we will look at what comes with the kit. Now, they do give you a few thumb grips if you want to use those on your Nintendo Switch. I already have a couple installed, so I'll keep them as spares, but I won't necessarily be using them. Normally, you also get 2 protective screens for your Nintendo Switch. Now, I have one left because I've actually been using the first one for the last 3 weeks on my Nintendo Switch Lite. I actually removed it for all of you today to be able to install this new one with all of you. You also get a really tiny microfiber cloth to help you clean your screen. And then lastly, you get the sort of key piece to this whole installation kit, which is basically the easy installation guide for your screen protector. Now, the first thing we're going to do, which you should always do before installing any screen protector, no matter how clean you think your screen is give it another nice wipe down. Because the last thing you want is to have dust underneath your screen protector. Now, secondly, in this case, we're going to be installing the guide for the basically Kiwihome screen protector, which installs just like so. Now, basically what this guide does, and why I say this is the easiest installation kit, is that when you have this guide on there, all you have to do is drop your screen protector in place. Basically, this guide takes all the guesswork out of putting your screen protector on your Nintendo Switch Lite in a straight manner. There's no stickers, there's no complicated process for installing the screen. You basically just drop it into place. Now, I didn't take off the protective sticker yet, but it's just to show you guys that basically the only thing you'll have to do is, as you're installing the screen protector, guide it down to try to work all the air bubbles out as you're installing the screen protector. So basically the next step will be removing the protective film, since we're ready now to install the screen protector. And the last thing, as I said, is to basically drop the screen protector in place, working it as we go along to make sure that there are no air bubbles on our screen. Now you're most likely going to have a couple of air bubbles towards the corners, because no matter how well you try to put it on, you always wind up with one or two tiny little air bubbles. But actually, I'm pretty amazed. I actually managed to do it with 0 air bubbles, which shows you why this kit is actually so easy to use. And the last thing, because we smudged our fingers all over the front of it, you give it a tiny little wipe down to make sure that there are no air bubbles under that you couldn't see because of the smudges. And anyway, if you wind up with an air bubble, it's easy. You just try to travel it towards the outside of your case. In my case, I actually have 0 air bubbles on it, so I can't actually show you that part. But if you check out my video where I installed this exact same kit but on the standard Nintendo Switch, you will see that I did wind up with a tiny air bubble in the corner, and I just basically worked it out by getting it out of the corner of the screen. But in this case, we are done. We have our screen protector on there. It is just as easy as that, and I did all of this pretty much in live time with pretty much 0 cuts. Now let's move on to the second piece to this protective kit, and that is the protective case itself. Because now we have our screen protected, meaning that any direct impact to our screen should be pretty much dealt with. And we shouldn't have to worry about anyone scratching our screen either, because we have our screen protector on there. But now let's protect the rest of our Switch, especially against drops or also scratching basically the back of the unit. Now, before I actually put this on, there's something I want to show you, is that basically you also have 3 slots to put in extra cartridges. And this is pretty interesting because they actually lock behind your Switch. It's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. The good thing about this is there's no way you can lose these cartridges, because basically the only way to have access to them is to actually completely remove the Nintendo Switch Lite, which I'll show you now in a couple of seconds. So basically the cartridge is locked there towards the back, and you can always put it face up so you know which games are in there. Actually, let's switch it around, and I'll show you that the only way to access the cartridge is to really remove the Nintendo Switch Lite. There we go. So you can always put your cartridges the other way around so you know what games you have behind there. But basically, if you want to switch your cartridge out, you have to completely remove your Switch, switch the cartridge out, put whatever cartridge was in your Switch Lite back in its space, and you have access to them there. There's no access from the outside. But basically, this was intentional by Kiwihome, because I contacted them about this to make sure. And what they said is that basically they wanted protection to be the main focus of this case, meaning that they didn't want to worry parents about their kids losing the cartridges because they could flop out of the back of the case, which is actually a pretty decent reasoning behind why you have access to it only behind your Switch. Because basically the only time you'll access these games are when you want to switch your cartridges. Now, the other thing about this is made with some really thick, durable plastic. Basically, I don't know if you can see here on the side, but the thickness of the plastic is actually quite apparent. And that is a good thing, because with this on your Switch, I would not be worried about dropping it. Maybe not from 10 feet above, but from a distance of 2 to 3 feet, which is pretty much where you drop it when you're sort of sitting and playing, I wouldn't be worried about dropping my Switch when it's in this case. At the same time, it still gives you access to charging your Switch without taking it out, gives you access to the micro SD. You still have access to your power switch and your volume rocker up and down, your earphone plug, and your cartridge plug. So the basically only time you need to take your Switch out of this is if you want access to the cartridges that you would put in the back. But even for someone that wants to never take this out, if you don't put cartridges in the back of this, you actually never have to take your Switch out of it, meaning that your Switch is going to be protected 24/7. Now, the last thing that I actually really like about this basically protective case is that if you have a bigger case for your Nintendo Switch Lite, sort of like my Oivo case right here, okay, you can actually fit your whole Switch in there, no problem, in a larger sized case. And this isn't the only case it fits with, but to me that is a huge advantage, especially if you're giving the Switch to kids and you know that you want it protected at all times. You can even put it in a travel case like this when you're going out of the house, and you know that if you leave your Switch laying around the house, if it's in its basic protective case, well, if someone knocks it off of a table, off of a couch, well, your Switch Lite isn't gonna bite it right there. So I think that's pretty much it now for our close-up of these products. I think we have a pretty good idea of how they work and basically what they look like up close. And we're sort of getting into the argumentative and the points I want to talk about in the conclusion about who these products are good for. So let's move on to that. So now that we have a pretty good idea of what the Kiwihome protective kit is offering, let's talk about who this kit is actually good for. Now, first of all, let's be honest. Does this kit protect your Switch as well as putting it in a full-fledged case? No, it does not. But at the same time, it doesn't depend on the person using the Switch having to think about putting it away when they're done playing, because basically it's permanently attached to your Switch. The only time you will actually be removing the Switch from its case normally will be if you want to have access to one of the 3 games in the back. Now, that seems like a downside at first, and personally, would I have preferred an opening at the back to be able to take the game cases out without removing the Switch? Yes, I would have. However, if we go by what Kiwihome was intending with this case, is that they were tailoring it to be the perfect protective case for a younger kid. And when these slots are open, is it easier to lose the games? Could they get loose over time and maybe fall out of the case? Yes, they could. Because they're locked behind the Switch like this, if you're putting your carts in the back there, there's no way you're losing those carts because you basically have to remove the whole Switch to take the cart out. And that is an advantage, especially that some of those tiny little Switch carts are worth $60. And if you didn't know this about me yet on the channel, I am also a father. And my Nintendo Switch Lite basically is what I give my kids to play when they want to play on their own without having to use the television. And basically, since Kiwihome has given me this kit about 3 weeks ago, I've been exclusively using my Nintendo Switch with both the screen protector and the protective case. And now I worry a lot less when I hand them my Nintendo Switch Lite to one of my kids to play, because even if they leave it laying on a table, well, I know that the back of the Switch won't get scratched up if someone starts moving it around. I also know that if something falls directly on the screen, there's a good chance that the screen protector will most likely save that screen. Of course, it's not a miracle function. If someone sits on it or if, something really heavy would fall on the Switch, I would not test it against those things, but at the same time, it gives me a slight peace of mind. At the same time, I still ask them to put it away in a case like the one I showed you in the close-up video so that they don't even have to remove it from it. But nonetheless, what Kiwihome is offering is a very, very interesting protective product for your Nintendo Switch Lite. Now, the second advantage that I would definitely say to this product is the basically shape they gave to it to give it somewhat of basically a grip shape at the back. Now, is this as good as having a dedicated grip for your Switch? No, but a dedicated grip generally will leave the Switch much more open than this and much more vulnerable. If you're an adult, takes care of his Switch, thinks of taking it out of its grip, putting it in its case when you're done playing with it, that is not an issue. But for a child, it is actually, I think, even better than a grip. My 8-year-old loves playing with this thing because the actual grips, the Satisfy grip, for example, is a little bit too big for her hands. So this actually fits a lot better. If you have smaller hands as well, you probably will feel pretty comfortable with this. And just having that grip shape at the back does change quite a bit. Like even for myself, although I feel more comfortable with a standardized grip, if it's between the Switch Lite Naked or with the protective case on it, I will take the protective case 10 times out of 10. So basically overall, what I'm saying is this necessarily the absolute best product gaming-wise for a Nintendo Switch Lite? Maybe not, but I do think it has a lot of interesting points, and you should really ask yourself what you're looking for in your Switch case for your Nintendo Switch Lite. If you're looking for something that is going to protect it 24/7, that you might never have to take the Switch Lite out of, except when, like I said, if you want to use those cartridge ports at the back, then I think that what Kiwihome here is offering today is very interesting. And if you're asking about screen protectors, I would say personally, it's a no-brainer. I always use Kiwihome screen protectors now. I actually, I've been using it for 3 weeks. I actually removed the first screen protector because the pack comes with 2 screen protectors in it. And I installed the second one for all of you just a few minutes ago. But honestly, these screen protectors from Kiwihome are really high quality. And it really is, in my opinion, so far, the easiest installation kit I've come across. So anyway, that's pretty much it for my video today. I think you have a generally good idea of what these products are offering now and if they're good for all of you out there. As I said earlier, I'll be leaving links to them down below. But as usual, I please want to remind all of you that if you want to support the channel, please hit that like button to see more videos. Also, subscribe to the channel if you aren't already, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you know when all my videos come out. And as usual, I hope I'll see all of you in my next video.